What is up, my frosty brethren? My name is Arctic, and today I'm bringing you all some more Gears of War discussion. This is kind of a series that I've been doing for the new Gears of War, giving you guys some sprinkles of Gears of War content for kind of on a weekly basis, talking about the new game, kind of discussing some thoughts about it, presenting some different scenarios and content that could possibly be in the game. Today I'm going to be talking about the cover system and the mantle kick. And if you've missed any of my previous discussions, I got links in the description. I have stuff at the end of the video, annotated links at the end of the video. Links save lives. If you want to check those things out, click a link so that you can get that info, that discussion going. So, you know, with the cover system and the mantle kick, going to kind of wrap these into one. I don't have a whole lot to talk about with the cover system, but with the mantle kick, I think there's a couple things I can kind of reiterate. We talked about that pretty in depth for Gears of War 3 in the past, so you know that's down in the description. You can check that out as well. But you know, I feel like Gears of War, for at least me anyway, was probably the pinnacle of a cover system in any game I've played. You know, Rainbow had it, and all these different tactical games, Ghost Recon had it, all these games had it, but none of them felt like they had the weight to kind of go behind it. When you talk about getting into cover, coming out of cover, even some of the angles felt really a lot more fluid, I guess, with the animations and how, you know, characters kind of turn. But it still wasn't perfect, you know. And even after the game came out, I think there was a lot of imitators that kind of tried to fill in and say, okay, we can try to do things better and do things a little different. And I don't really feel like anyone has quite nailed it 100%, but I feel like Gears of War was by far the best one that we've gotten so far. One of the things I want to kind of nitpick with the cover system is you know, some of the angles that you end up getting into that are really awkward. And part of this is being in a third-person shooter. Part of it is some of the geometry just wasn't really conducive, like for mantling or when I say mantling, I mean actually getting up, not coming over for a mantle kick, but actually mantling up and climbing or getting down off of like platforms and stuff like that. So it kind of made some of the animations that go with those not as fluid as they could have been. And one of the key factors that and I think what everyone kind of associates with kind of a bad experience is the platform on checkout with the grenades. That area coming down, hopping up, lots and lots of issues with that, especially if there was another enemy player right below you and you tried to like run off the platform or just kind of sometimes kind of shoot down at them. There's just weird scenarios where, you know, either players would be invincible sometimes in spots like that where you shoot them, you see the bullets hit them, they would take no damage on their screen. Or if you try to fall off of the platform, you end up getting stuck on invisible planes and things like that. So I feel like when you talk about you know, the cover system, that is probably the biggest issue that I've had in the past, and I would like to see kind of fixed. From, you know, a getting down standpoint of those platforms, I never at all liked how it felt on checkout on platform. Sometimes, you know, if you had the momentum behind, you know, sprinting, you would do this animation where you like fell down off of out of cover, or if you sometimes like came off of cover and like rolled backwards. If you guys, I know you guys remember, if you roll backwards, and sometimes you would get stuck on a spot where you should have just completely fallen off, so it's like it was an invisible wall there. Just very weird things that would happen when you came out of cover on certain areas just like that. And you know, some cases for me, you know, looking over balconies, if a player was straight down below you, sometimes the camera angles would be a little funky. And again, that's all part of the, like that third person view that you kind of get with the cover system. So those are a couple issues that I would like to see hammered out. I feel like the weight should kind of stay the same. Even the speed to cover, I feel like should pretty much stay consistent. I would definitely not want it to be slower because we had that experience with Gears of War 2. I don't want it to be slower at all. That's kind of talking about movement speed, which is, I think, a different video entirely. So I would not like to see that changed. You know, a lot of the blind firing mechanics, I feel like those are all pretty good. I think there's times when you're kind of looking up and maybe to the side, I think on like angles where your character sometimes flips between up and like on the right or left. of a piece of cover, and that would be a little awkward at times. So maybe just a little bit tighter controls on some of the blind firing in those cases. But for the most part, like I said, it's pretty damn good all around. So very, very minute tweaks on some of those things that I would like to see fixed. In terms of the mantle kick, again, I'm just going to say this, like, you know, from a pure standpoint of what I remember from Gears of War 3. Again, it's some of the same issues in Gears Judgment. It just wasn't consistent. You know, there are times when you would mantle someone, right? You kick them, and then there's other times where you do the exact same motion. Your character would do the animation like they were mantle kicking, and then they would all of a sudden warp back into place. Sometimes you guys would both do a mantle kick, and then you guys would be like stuck on like cover. I've seen all types of weird little bugs and things that happen with the mantle kick. So the consistency there needs to really be looked at, like, you know, severely looked at. It's one of the issues that I feel like is probably the biggest when you talk about the cover system and movement that needs to be reevaluated. I definitely don't feel like it should be removed from the game. I don't know if I'm in the minority here, but I just did not like the flow of the games where people just sat on cover right across from each other, just looking over. Like, that was so awkward to me. It makes no sense that one person can't push or that they're stuck or something like that. So having that in there definitely helped the flow of the game. And I think without it, it just doesn't feel as good. And so again, I might be in the minority because a lot of people probably don't feel like the mantle kick is consistent enough to keep it in. If they can't fix it, sure, you know, if they can't get it to where it feels superb, then hey, scrap it, whatever, you know, I'm fine with that. But if they can get it to a point where it feels good, it's very consistent, and it has a much better user experience, and maybe it needs a beta test, you know, and maybe we need to hop in there and see if it actually is something that needs to be or can be addressed. And if it can, then hey, maybe they throw some fixes in and they let us test it all, and then we can be the judge, the jury and judge on that. So that's all I got for today. If you guys want to hear more on the mantle kick, plenty of discussion around that. Links down in the description. If you have not already, please make sure to give the video a like, and be sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss any more Gears content or other shooters. I mean, I play a lot. I feel like I'm pretty good in a lot of them, so you guys are going to get some good gameplay, a lot of intelligent discussion around games. And until the next time, I will catch you all later. Stay frosty. So you missed my previous Gears video, huh? Well, luckily for you, it's right there. Just click right there. Come on. What are you waiting on? Just click. Click it. It's right there for you. Come on. This is unnecessary.